Property Committee meeting to order at 5:30 PM Tuesday, November 17th, in the first floor conference room at City Hall. All committee members are present. Let's go around the room for those at home watching.
Chad World, District 1.
Greg Hepp, District 6.
Tom Rion, District 4 Alderman.
Todd Furkey, District 2.
Cindy Schlichting, Accounting.
Tim DeSorsi, Finance.
Jake Mathias, City Times.
Steve Coles, District 5.
I'm Terry Dolan, District 8. Item number 2, a resolution adopting the tax levy and the 2016 city budget.
Okay, that's the resolution that you, want to get a copy of that? I think I gave you one. Did you get it? This is just a resolution adopting it, setting the levy to be $28,389,251.87, and that $28 million includes all the other taxing jurisdictions. If you turn to page, here, 23, public hearing document. You can see where that $28 million in the middle of the page, under 216. You see the total tax levies, including TID increment, state, Wood County, school district, mid-state, Wisconsin Rapids, and you'll see that $28 million. So that's the amount that we have to collect on the city tax bills, not only for the city's budget, but also then to the other taxing jurisdictions. So that's what this resolution is adopting the budget document as you have here, and the resolution setting the levy. And then you also got my changes, I think, in the email about the transfers from the budget contingency. There's operating accounts for because when we initially put the budget together, any wage increase, 2016 wage increase for non-union was not approved yet by council. That was approved last month at council. So then what I did is when the budget was initially put together, I put that amount in contingency. Now that was approved, I transferred out of contingency into the operating account, so then we don't have to do a resolution later on in the year to adjust those budgets. And also that included some open enrollment changes. Every year, people have open enrollment for health insurance where they can change plans or whatever, and so there's always some budgetary impact from some of those changes.
Did we get the activity base from the mayor's community promotion
I did not
of the
receive it.
$3,500?
I did not.
Here he is.
This chair stacked up in this room here.
That's right. That's it over back here. We were just wondering where the, you said you had the activity base printed out of where the $3,500 was spent in your mayor's councils?
Where it was spent?
Yeah, but you didn't have it itemized in the budget?
Oh, so-
$3,500?
You want me to itemize it?
That's what we discussed last week. You said
We
you had
discussed
got
it, but I didn't know if that's what you wanted. You didn't say that's what you wanted. I can do that for you. Right now. I gave you the rundown, but that, you wanted more than that, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, because the beautification shouldn't take much out of there, because there's, what, 2 or 3 grants in there that can help with that, right? You have the
I guess,
AT.
are you proposing to reduce the mayor's council line item? And if so, I guess what would your rationale be? Because we've also funded interns out of that in the past. We've gotten approval through the HR committee for an intern to support the Sustainability Council. City staff has carried the Mayor's Youth Council, but I guess I'm just curious to know what you propose about that.
Well, I was just curious, because it doesn't have anything listed. Anytime you have the activity base, you have dues and subscriptions, and you listed everything with the dollar amount, community promotion, but the mayor's councils of training and education were kind of left blank, and it just, I know it seems like a little bit of money, $3,500
Right.
is a drop in the bucket, but it's still, where does that money go? Why do you need that particular amount of money? You know, where did you come up with the 3,500, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Well, we have the Mayor's Youth Council, the Sustainability Council,
Mhm.
the Beautification Council, all of which we figure, between $1,000 and $1,200, $1,100 per council for between materials and any other subscriptions that those councils might pursue. And it's just a general line item. I mean, the activity-based budgeting would tell you that the three councils, which would be the three I just mentioned, would be the expenses attributed to those three. So you're looking for down to the detail, the granular detail of what each council spends $1,000. The council actually decides what they spend, so that can change from year to year.
Fair enough, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't able to make the last meeting you guys had on Tuesday. Prior to that, I think the mayor did speak to the vacant positions for the community development specialist and the IT coordinator. What was happening with those positions? Is the city gonna seek to fill those this year, or in the 2016 budget year, or are they just gonna remain open for a while?
That's the plan, and that's why they still appeared in the 2016 budget. Otherwise, if we weren't gonna fill them, we would have wiped them out and put something else in its place, if there wasn't their expense that we identified. So that is absolutely the plan. In fact, since the last meeting, I talked with the HR director about some of the recruitment strategies that she's considered for the respective positions. Now, the community development specialist, though, we have not gotten a job description approved for, so we're not actively recruiting for that one. A big reason for that, I think, is because we really didn't feel, depending on where we were at with some of the projects, like the triangle redevelopment and other things, if in fact we felt there was a need to staff that department differently, and I think, given to where we're at in some of the process or the progress we've made in some of those areas, whether it's industrial park development and buying back the land, for example, in the West Side Industrial Park that was previously sold for the armory purposes, now we're getting some of those properties within the city's control. I think it makes sense, and the timing is we're approaching a timing where it makes sense to put that job description together, get it approved through the committee and the council for us to fill that one in particular, because that was one we didn't talk about in the last meeting. But that's the plan, and I know Adam had talked about, maybe doing a licensing or rental units in town, and I don't know if, they were watching some litigation in La Crosse and Wisconsin, and I know that was a big component of that office that required additional staffing. So I think those are the two pieces that, depending on where we were at in 2015 with progress, we would like to maybe create a position sooner on that one, but there really hasn't been, I would say, a need to this point, so that's why the position is still in the budget for 2016.
Okay. The other question I had was, when we had committee of the whole, I thought I understand no action comes out of committee of the whole meetings, but we were kind of leaning towards the direction that the youth pool is kind of a lost cause where it is still in the budget to be funded. Is that something we want to move forward with, or?
I was just gonna say, it should stay in the budget. I think a message to the community is we're not eliminating funding for the pool, and as long as we keep those dollars there, whether or not we open or not, we've got those dollars ready for us to do something with. If they're removed from the budget, I think as we talked last, in general sense, if we remove things from the budget, there isn't a process to fund them again. I mean, maybe through reserves or other things, but that would be, I guess, my position on the new pool funding, that we keep it in the budget, so we've got those dollars allocated for the raise.
Yeah, you missed last week's meeting, I know Tom brought it up, actually, we had talked at one time, even if we don't do nothing, and we don't have a pool, we want something, be able to do something for the kids and stuff, so we're keeping that in the budget. So,
It may not be expended on
May
the
not,
pool
yeah,
itself, but it's
maybe
there. and
redirected, but
available.
we're gonna use it for the youth, so.
Okay.
Good question, man.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I just had one last question.
Sure.
I understand we created some new positions. Last year, we got a public works director, and this year, we're going to have the airport manager. But I was, when I looked through this on the human resources department, the wage increase of $11,000, why were we increasing that department in the wages by that much? Because on their staffing levels, it appears that they're going from 1.68 personnel assigned in 2015 to 1.8, so they're increasing 12 personnel, but the wages on this says it's gonna increase by 11,986. I did hear that there was a concerned citizen who got the bridge version. She thought the whole department was gonna get 370,000, but I guess I was able to explain that they're not getting that, but I'm just kinda curious about the wage increase on that.
In 2016, we're gonna have a retirement in that department. And the Human Resources Director is gonna be proposing hiring what am I talking about? Benefits specialist. And that person's gonna go like the full-time, but actually the current person that person we're replacing is at 80% or 0.8. But actually, the salary for the full-time will actually be lower than what that person is. But in that meantime, we're gonna have a little bit of overlap because of training and things like that. So that's why you see kind of the increase in the staffing level, but then also the increase in the wages, because that person, the person that's retired is gonna be here for, through April, or on the payroll through April, and then we're gonna bring hopefully the benefits specialist in at the beginning of the year. So that's why there's an increase there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
When you had the fire chief in here, you were talking about adding the third tier. Everybody agreed, it was on the same page to add it, but maybe there's be some checks and balances in a year or two to see how much of savings that it helped that department, if it was worth it, if it was not. Do we have a plan of action? Are we gonna just vote it in tonight and then worry about it later?
Yeah, we didn't come up with specifics, but
Tim, if you wanna take it, I'll add any additional.
Sure. I mean, I think when we discussed that, obviously, Chief Kirkman, when you proposed the additional tier, almost all the funding, I think it only results in a net increase in his budget of $20,000 to $25,000 to add the 3 firefighters, because he lowered his overtime and his off-duty transfers. And we had discussed that we have to develop some type of metric to measure whether that's successful or not, because we know that in the future, within the department, there's gonna be a lot of retirement. So if the savings aren't realized, or run volume or whatever drops below a certain criteria, then that we could actually then not fill those retirements and go back to the original staffing. But yes, that's one of the things we need to still do, is develop that measurement criteria, so that down the road, we have certain metrics that we can say, okay, you're meeting them or not, or run volume has done this.
I mean, I think you're saying it, but what we talked about was.
Heard you talking.
Yeah, that's
Anything
all
you do
right.
for me?
I just wanna make sure you don't forget that attrition thing we talked about.
Yep,
Three
yep, no,
extra
I'm-
firefighter
yep.
doesn't.
I'm fully in on that piece.
Cause believe me, that's.
We're never
that was my
gonna know
most
that
calls
for
the
sure.
last week.
We're never gonna know for sure if we're gonna reduce that overtime until that point. I'm 95% confident that we can, but if we can't, attrition is how we would have to do it. I'm just looking at the best steps for our department and for the community. And honestly, truthfully, we've tried everything else. This is the best step for the community and department.
Well, personally, I said it last time, being in the converting plant or wherever, if you've got a bunch of people and you need to train some people to be ready to replace people, it's a lot easier to manage, but it's okay, so we're gonna keep working on that.
And the positions won't be filled until that's finished, so I think
Mhm.
that's something
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
I'm
my
committed to
only-
doing, and
my
not
only
greenlighting
concern-
until it's done.
My only concern in regard to that is we're down to 4 candidates right now that are on that list. our next list won't be available till probably June of next year, so I'm just hoping that all 4 of them stay on that list. I'm sure they're looking at other departments also, so, and we have 3 that we're very sure that would be able to do the job. So, that's my only concern is now we're gonna be keeping that back even further where we would have been able to offer those positions, now we're not gonna be able to, so.
I think you kinda know where we stand, you know, as far as what we want. I mean, it could be a letter, memorandum of agreement.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be nothing real fancy.
And right now, monthly, I do a overtime summary, a very nice overtime summary that shows each area of where we're spending money. And all I have to do is extend that and forward that to all the persons so they can see where we're at compared to where we were in past years. And I totally get that piece. I understand 100% that if we're not saving, then it's not efficient, and then we'll have to do it by attrition.
Okay.
And I would imagine we'll have something in the coming weeks as to what that simple understanding looks like, because I think for all of our sake, I'm hearing from the council, we want to have something in writing that outlines out overtime and any other components that are going to measure the success or failure maybe of the additional tier. And I think the HR committee, you know, if they wish to discuss the agreement there, I'm not sure, maybe a joint meeting of the 2 committees, however that transpires. I'd imagine that I'd be in favor of that going to a committee for discussion, just to make sure everyone's on the same page, even if it's for information only.
Would it be beneficial if maybe Tim and I start working on that, and then we actually have it ready for that meeting, so you can kind of look at it?
Sure, yeah, if you want to take a.
Are you gone all next week?
stab at it.
Yeah.
He's one of them that we identified as unable to.
Are you around till Friday?
Yes,
Okay, we can start working on it this week.
I look forward to
Okay.
it.
Simple, it's simple.
I don't think it's gonna be
How do
that
I get work
difficult.
out of this?
I really don't think it's gonna be that difficult.
Yeah, we just have
I
to-
think we could probably get it done in an hour.
Yeah, I think we just need this so that everyone's on the same page and understanding of what we're looking at, so, yeah.
Gives us a good idea. That's a
Yep.
good model.
No, I think that
It's
that's
a good
the way
model
we
to
should
follow.
do these, you know.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Anybody? Yeah, Mr.
When
Fergie?
you said you had some retirements coming up in the fire, how
Yeah.
soon are those?
And what we go off of is what their age and number of years of service, which is a norm. I haven't had anyone that has actually come up and told me that they're gonna be retiring, but I would say we're probably gonna have 5 to 6 within the next 4 years,
Okay.
easily, that many. We're very top-heavy right now with a lot of senior members. We haven't hired a member in probably 4 or 5 years. We have nobody on our department right now that's less than a 5-year firefighter.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, on page 36, you can see, you know, 5-year and up, it's.
And when they start going,
They don't have
it's
anyone.
gonna be, we're gonna lose a lot real quick, and we're gonna be a very young department again. I would say another 8 years, we're gonna be an extremely young fire department. So,
Okay.
okay.
Anybody else?
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the resolution adopting the tax levy in the 2016 city budget.
Second that? Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Adjourned at 5:40.
Oh, I had 5:50.
5:50, okay.